Game on, everybody! We are on Concealed Hill, best of 3, the semi-final at the Endgame Gear Masters, and we have Neytpoh, which is definitely not pronounced that way since it's a Russian name, I guess, but I am completely clueless, so we're just going for it. That's how we pronounced him in the good old days, years and years back. I'm just going to continue that trend. It might be wrong, it is definitely wrong, but yeah, just for old time's sake. So yeah, we have at this point Neytpoh going up against EnTe, who currently uses the account Blackbox here. And yeah, at this point, both of them talking about Spiral, who earlier today lost his series, was actually telling me that apparently he has toothaches or something, and something really severe and extreme, which is currently a spot where it just says I couldn't concentrate and just didn't make it. Last time he made it into the semi-final, he gathered a couple of points here today, though 2 for the standings, because this is the second qualifier. So both of the players that you're currently seeing in the semi-final are trying to gain some points so that they can participate in the final tournament. The final tournament with 2,500 euros of prize money plus additional hardware from AMD, Endgame Gear making it possible. They released the XM1, and it's a fantastic new mouse with new patented technology as well. And they were eager to put it to the test and also to sponsor this WarCraft tournament. It's going to be amazing, especially since we have an offline final in Osnabrück in Germany on the 17th of August, 2 days after my birthday, and it's going to be pretty sick because I'm going to be there, the players are going to be there, and guess what? You can be there too. It's going to be open to the public, so if you guys want to check it out, you can go to endgamegear-masters.com and have a look. And yeah, attend the grand final if you want. Enjoy the barbecue, watch some WarCraft 3, meet a couple of players. It's going to be pretty epic. The Death Knight at this point out for EnTe, and we have a keeper opening for Neytpoh. The Nightelf in yellow with a circle of nobility as it starts things up on Concealed Hill. Again, keep in mind, this is the first semi-final, and we have the best of 3 right here, starting us off on Concealed Hill. So a bit of a harass already set up by EnTe, who was able to take down Lubba in the last series that he had to play in the round of 8. So was able to take the best of 3 there. Lex, by the way, the opponent in the round of 8 of Neytpoh, so he's already a little bit warmed up against Undead in this matchup. Has to deal with the harass right now, obviously targeting those wisps. Nice move, really nicely done here. The good old buildings coming straight in as the coil is flying, but the archer goes down, and that was a nice play there. Just too far away from those moon wells to have an effect there. So pretty decent opening for the Death Knight regardless. I mean, granted, the one coil went straight into nowhere, but he was still able to take an archer down, so that's a good opening into this. Nice! Good cancel. So what he just did right now was he faked a death coil and then canceled the death coil mid-animation, and we'll see in the Nightelf player trying to detonate the wisp to deny the experience to his opponent. So he kind of faked his opponent out there, and he steals the experience away as well. What the hell? The fuck did he eat for breakfast? Seriously, whatever it was, give me some of that as well. That is like esports doping right there. EnTe is currently killing this early game. I mean, that's a fantastic harass with the Death Knight. He takes the item away, he takes the experience. He's nearly on the same level as the Keeper, and the Keeper has taken another slot beforehand. Level 2 finally, but damn son, that is a pretty incredible start here for EnTe. So yeah, nicely done by him. Still a bit of body blocking and free damage against the archers. It's gonna drain, if anything, the moon wells this time. And yeah, no baiting out of a death coil for him. But that was a really, really nice setup for him right now. So with that said, we're now seeing down to the bottom left, the Necropolis is halfway upgraded into the Halls of the Dead also. Couple of additional ghouls in for Wood, sitting at 300, 4 in total for him, and heading straight into the second crypt for now. So double crypt set up for him. Acolyte Scout is going to go down in just a moment, as we're still having the Death Knight moving over. But damn, that early game, seriously, like EnTe with a great start into this one. This was pretty amazing. So, let's see if we can pull off a little bit more than that, because obviously now the gold mine is being crapped as well. There's another hit, but this time he's a bit off base. Yeah, still can maybe get that item. No, not quite. Manual of Health is still there. Not really been a focus for any of them. Still trying to get some extra XP. Keeper is on 2.5. It's obviously one of the big problems. If you're going for an early harass, obviously you don't have to spec as much into... You can go for a fast attack, for example. The big problem that you have with it is that your own hero is going to be really low. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Now, the thought process behind the harass is to try and make sure that your opponent doesn't get too far ahead in experience. You shut that down, you steal some of it away. And that is one of the things that he was trying to do here. And he has done a pretty decent job, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, he is also now in a situation where he has to be a little bit careful because he's still falling behind in XP. And he's trying to take the archer down. The Gnoll Overseer is definitely helping there. But with the expansion now in play, that could be a kill. Oh, that's a close one. But yeah, so he sees the expand, he knows what's coming. There is in the main base still the tech into tier 2 for Neytpoh. We have also gargoyles now in action, and here comes the Lich. So we're going to see a lot of gargoyle action once again on this map. We had a previous attempt by Scud against Longwalk to use the same strategy here, but it didn't quite work out the way that he was trying to set that up. Also, we have the Talisman of Evasion now for the Keeper, 32 supply for him. And for now, it's just about extra experience. So you want to make sure that the Death Knight is getting his Unholy Aura with gargoyles. It obviously matters a lot as well. You're trying to be nimble on the map, be quick on your feet. Lich is in, House of the Dead tech already started straight into the Black Citadel. But now there's obviously the problem of the expansion all the way up to the top, and you need to deal with that eventually. So right now the big question is, how long do you need in order to play around this? Because the longer you wait, the more money your opponent has, the bigger the army is going to become, and the more problem you're going to have to get value out of the gargoyle harass. There's 2 in, and with that he's already going straight in for the first Red Drake creep towards the right side. We're having the Alchemist now in play. Always a nice hero to take against gargoyles. Alchemist, Panda, both of them totally fine there. And we already have the Alchemist going straight into the asset. Already the Lich a little bit low item. The Lionhound of Stormwind. It is aura time. Nice for him. Lich on level 2 by now. And the Death Knight has nearly reached level 3, or will nearly reach level 3 through the creep there. Actually, can he pull that off completely? Nah, not quite. But again, he's close. So for now, that's actually a good setup for him as well. Gets more and more gargoyles into the action too. So far, we don't see a lot of upgrades yet. We have a Slaughterhouse coming in, and he's going to try and harass that expansion a little bit. Force a reaction out of the Nightelf player who's still creeping too. And by now we have level 2 for the level 2 for the Alchemist. And that's pretty good as well. Cutgas, Pipe of Insight. That's also something that the Undead player would have been pretty happy about, I can tell you that much. Moonstone being used by Neytpoh here. 41 supply for him against the 33 for EnTe. And EnTe is just slowly and steadily forcing a reaction and forcing those wisps out. There's not a big army yet, and the Alchemist is only level 2, so he can't really do too much yet. He has a Chemical Rage, and he has also, as you can tell right here, the Acid Bomb, and that is doing some solid work against gargoyles later on, but level 1 is not really all that threatening. A couple of the archers are already going down, and we have the attack against the hippogriffs that are being put into play. One of the gargoyles is dead. That's already a bit of a problem. Death Knight with another coil has level 3 by now. That's another archer down the drain, and the gargoyles are flying in once more. A bit of body blocking though, and that means that we are seeing that Death Knight taking an enormous amount of damage right now. So he has to move away from this one as well. And gargoyles against the hippogriffs. He's trying to take the Undead down. There's the portal. And he wins the air battle for now. Or does he? Well, it's pretty much an even play. This is always the problem when you're going gargoyles against hippogriffs. At some point, there is always that critical mass. It always comes down to the question, who has enough units to really take the opponent down and win that air battle? And once that the air battle starts to tilt in one direction, it really quickly becomes a snowball once that we have bigger army size there. And yeah, so one player will win out massively. And the one big advantage, obviously, in a big fight that we have now for EnTe is that he has the armor upgrade through the aura that is. So that's going to be pretty fantastic for him. If he can get the AoE in play, then that's great for him as well. But right now we're having hippogriffs coming in for Neytpoh. We're having him creeping the Red Drake, and that gives him, oh, Ilaria's Flute of Accuracy. Double aura for him already. Yep, has also the Khadgar's Pipe of Insight, so that's a great start here for the Nightelf into the series. 38 supply against 52, so already a low upkeep setup for Neytpoh. And the Nightelf player still repairing the Tree of Life, but he's still harvesting, he's still mining from that base. So things are starting to become a little bit iffy for EnTe. He doesn't have any upgrades for the gargoyles just yet. Question is, what are we going to get in regards to items? Is he going to get a few more here? In terms of experience, we will see that Lich on level 3. The problem is the Lich is not the only one. We already have the Alchemist on level 3, and that's the second one in a second stack into the Acid Bomb. So that is going to do a whole lot more damage right now. And the army itself, I mean, there's Hippogriffs in play. We have Hippogriff Riders now too, and that is a pretty solid army that he has there. This is going to make it really, really difficult for EnTe, especially that once that you're outnumbered by those, it's pretty much shutting down your entire attempt at harassing the opponent's base and taking those wisps down. Because these guys can follow you over the forest, and that's a big, big problem. So, let's see what we're going to get with that. Right now, we're having, again, those 3-4 Lich. Expansion attempt. Okay, so he's gonna go in and tries to expand there too. Sacrificial Skull already being used. Another camp attacked on the left side though. And that army is growing. 63 against 43 right now. This is getting real problematic. I mean, at this point, EnTe has to pretty much hope for Neytpoh to just screw up a little bit. Because if he scouts the base at the bottom right and just times an attack, it's gonna be tricky. And you just look at the items in the inventory of the Nightelf player and you know that EnTe is in trouble. I mean, we're talking Scroll of Protection, we're talking Scroll of Healing. He has also a Scroll of the Beast. So any kind of battle on an even battleground is going to favor the Nightelf massively right now. There's very, very little in terms of items and in terms of army that could be called an advantage for EnTe. So the Nightelf is in an incredibly strong setup and actually is now going for even more items. Finds a Talisman of Evasion right there. Yep, by now also another level up. The Keeper is now on level 4. Upgrades none to be found just yet. Base down at the bottom is still building, so there's still a lot of time that's needed for EnTe to get a solid army there. He has the supplies at 46. The problem is he's going up against a 70 supply army on the side of his opponent. So this is going to be rough. And as you would have expected, there's the Nightelf player starting to make his move down to the bottom of the map, and he's going to sniff that out. Scouts are also running all over the place. The Treants are coming in. And this is going to be an attack before the expansion is done. So there can be a cancel, there will be a cancel, there has to be a cancel, and he doesn't even have to fight for it. It's just going to be a forced cancel, and he could even portal out if he wanted to, but he can take that army any day now. This is rough for EnTe. This is really, really bad for him at this point. Yeah, so there's already the Scroll of the Beast being used, maybe a little bit prematurely, because all it does is scares the Undead off for a second. Very unlikely that EnTe is going to fight into this, and he just gives this up. There's little else that he can do. He's trying to take a few of the archers down, and that works out, but that forces the battle now anyways, and this is horrible for those gargoyles. EnTe down to 35 supply already. Yep, quickly uses the stone form, but that means that only the heroes are still on the ground there, and they are not too happy about this particular setup either. The Lich is nearly level 4, but gets heavily attacked right now. There's the Entangle and the Focus, and Gargoyles can't help at all. He's trying to get the counter kill against the Keeper of the group, but immediately the Staff being used, and now the Alchemist is still in play there. Gets his level 4 and uses the Chemical Rage to immediately start attacking the Lich. Now, obviously, there's a couple of additional Hippogriff Riders that are now also starting to chip in, and, well, EnTe is starting to yield the ground. And keep in mind, behind all of this, the expansion of the Nightelf is still running. It's still running the entire time. It's 68 supply against 38. And all that he can hope for is take a few units down with his heroes, which is what he's doing now. But the Death Knight and the Lich, the little tag team that we're seeing here, is now running into the Alchemist again, who's, by the way, a little bit low, and use the Chemical Rage to get out of there. But there's a Staff of Preservation now handed over to the Keeper, so he can definitely save the Alchemist if need be. And that Lich is just running into trouble the entire time. And so far, it's not the biggest problem, but it's becoming a problem because the Death Knight is running out of mana. He has one coil left, and that's it. But the Keeper is down. The Keeper is down. 1,000 gold for EnTe. Neytpoh's on 500. There's now also a couple of Fairy Dragons coming in. And we could see another kill against the Alchemist. Chemical Rage as he's trying to make his way out. Not enough mana on the Lich, and that helps him to escape here. 1,200 gold for EnTe. 78 supply for Neytpoh. He has the running expansion, but he just lost the keeper. Now we're talking about 2 level 4 heroes on the Undead side. Same levels, by the way, for the Nightelf, but as you can guess, these two are starting, well, at least the Death Knight is getting a little bit closer to level 5. Now we're having more Ziggurats build, trying to get a bigger army there, getting additional Fiends out too. Trying to shift gears a little bit and transition into a Fiend style, because he's realizing that with Gargoyles he just can't go up against those Hippogriffs. Once that you have Fiends in play, the Hippogriffs are not going to do jack shit. At that point it's going to become more of a question of, well, does he have additional units so they can go into Hippogriff Riders? But once that those Gargoyles are down, those Hippogriffs just don't have an opponent anymore. So Neytpoh needs to make sure that he catches these shifts. If he doesn't, it can be a problem in the long run. The one thing that I really want to still see from the Nightelf, and which I was actually a little bit disappointed in the last fight, was that he didn't buy any items for his heroes. At least Potions of Lesser Invulnerability should be a bit of a must for him. Another expansion also being built now by the Nightelf, still trying to expand here. Also ensuring that there's no expansion at the bottom right of the map. But he's doing pretty well with this. Getting a Shredder into the action now too, with 47 lumber. That's a pretty good setup to have. And so far, I actually found it. Found the expansion. That's obviously always the little risk that you run. If your opponent scouts that out, then you have to go for the cancel there. Actually, he doesn't even. Yeah, they can now pretty much just park over the Stoneform Gargoyles. And that will force a reaction out of the Undead again, because he has to save his army now. He needs to go in and make sure that these bad boys are not going to be taken down, even though there's only a single Hippogriff Rider. It's going to take hours, so yep, just moves back for now. Another Fairy Dragon coming in. 2 attack upgrades, by the way, on the Nightelf now. And we're having them moving in. There's the first Fiend down. Coil doesn't hit, and that's a double loss for the Undead. Currently we're seeing EnTe on 48 supply against 76, and the attack is on. Yeah, the expansion is destroyed, so that was an important one. The Gargoyles are starting to come in, and they can't fight this one. Nope, Gargoyles are going to lose that battle heavily, and they're already going down level 5 then again for the Death Knights, and that helps at least a bit. And we're still seeing the aggression throughout the Nightelf heroes here, with 66 supply against 31. EnTe is losing. He's losing a lot. He's trying to get those kills again. There's no Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, but there are healing potions galore on the side of the Nightelf. And now he's starting to focus straight onto the Lich. Here's the setup. The problem is that that bad boy, the Keeper, didn't have any of the potions. The potions are safely secured on the Alchemist. Hasn't given any over. But here comes the attack again. Yep, Keeper's back to business, gets immediately attacked, gets greeted by Nova. There's the coil, and still doesn't have the potion. The Alchemist has both of them. That greedy bastard took both of the healing potions, didn't give a single one to the Keeper. He hates the Keeper, and why? Because the Keeper was picked first. So with that, we're having EnTe pretty much relying on his units. On his 2 heroes, that's it. Down at the bottom of the map, we're still having the scout from the Fairy Dragon, but EnTe is down to 34 supply now against 64. Boy, it's really a massive problem right now. I mean, honestly. So at this point, the Lich is more and more in trouble. There is enough mana for another coil, but so far we're seeing the Death Knight not using that. You're gonna run out of space eventually. Now, of course, the question is still, can the Nightelf expand again? Both of them are starting to run out of resources in the main base. It's down to 1,500 for the 2 of them. 5,600 up here at the top. But the army, the Fiends that are coming in, first of all, they don't have any upgrades, and they're also not really equipped to deal with all of this now. Chemical Rage to move away from it. Again, the attack, double item in, and they're trying to get the surround. EnTe is trying to get the surround here against the Nightelf, and guys, once that Chemical Rage is over, that Alchemist is in trouble. The aura is on level 2, and there's the surround, and he's going to die. The Nightelf has pretty much everything set for victory, and he is still starting to lose the game here, because he just doesn't keep his heroes alive. He didn't buy Potions of Lesser Invulnerability, he bought healing potions, he didn't give any of the 2 over to the Keeper, and then lost that. Now the Alchemist is back and might immediately die again. Reaches, gets 1 potion, Moonwells, empty, drained, and he dies. This is insane. Nearly level 6 now on the Death Knight, and EnTe starting to attack. EnTe with 46 supply. I would have not blamed him at all if he would have left the game ages ago, but he's sticking it out, and all of a sudden things are starting to turn a little bit. Keeper is looking at nearly level 5, goes in again with the tree ends. He's trying to fight back here. Experience is going to come in. 66 supply against 40. EnTe with level 6 now on their Death Knight. DK on level 6, but the Fiends are still falling. The Shredder is shredding, and there's the level 3 aura at this point. Once again, they're starting to move in, and one Fiend after another falls. It's a hero's game at this point for EnTe. He wants to go for the kill again against the Keeper. Keeper is also still a town portal. There's a Death Knight on level 6 with a level 3 aura. Enough mana for one coil in just a second. And there's no army. Is there going to be a potion? Well, he's going to try and get one. And yep, potion of lesser invulnerability plus the town portal. So now we're slowly talking. And they're starting to attack the Lich again. Didn't work out all that well the last time, but by now we're talking about only a single coil remaining here. And it looks like he might lose this in the long run. Yep, there's one statue. That would be the first thing that they should try and take down. But obviously time has passed and those gold mines are running down right now. Yep, that's going to be the end of the gold mine. That's going to be the end of the income, which means no more items. And the Lich is in trouble now as well. Well, I would assume that so is the Keeper, but he can still portal out at any point if he really wants to. Plays a ring around the Rosie game. Yep, there's the potion of lesser invulnerability already being used. Can he nuke him? He can try, but both of them went for the potion. Death Knight gets attacked, and there's the setup, but the coil is there, and he saves his target. And another Nova against the Keeper, and here's the setup once again as they're just focusing the Lich down, trying to get the kill here. More Fiends coming in now too. We're seeing the Alchemist still not back, but he soon will be. One Fiend down, it's time for the Dryads. It's time for a little bit of slow, focusing on the ground army a little bit more. Gets that in, and the Fiend nearly falling, but thanks to the level 3 aura from the Death Knight, it might actually be able to escape here. Maybe not. Still damage against the Lich. I mean, at this point, it's just about magic immune stuff that you're trying to put onto the table so that the two heroes can't take it down. So you're talking Fairy Dragons, you're talking Dryads. That's all that he has to do right now. And he is going to produce a lot more of those. Dryads are now coming in the main base. We're even having more Fairy Dragons being produced. And he seems pretty set at this point. The Nightelf made it interesting, but now two heroes are back on the map. We're talking about a 71 supply Nightelf against 37 supply for EnTe. So, yep, at this point, it is actually... I mean, it should be a foregone conclusion, but then again, I thought that for the last 10 minutes, and somehow EnTe always made his way back into this. By now, we're having items everywhere, so we are having, first of all, one healing potion and a potion of lesser invulnerability in the inventory of the two heroes. A lot more survivable by now. 2 attack upgrades, and this should be all that he needs. But in comes EnTe. And EnTe brings everything. And when EnTe brings everything, he brings everything. If he couldn't control the sheep on the map, he would do the same thing now too. So the Tree of Ages has already moved over towards the next expansion, and here's where we're going to see the final fight between the two of them. The attack comes in immediately, and the Fiends are getting insanely quickly dropped here. Yeah, there's another quick kill as a Dark Ritual comes through for additional mana, so let's just try and get at least some value out of it. Even the Ancient of War is moving in again. They're able to drop a couple of the Hippogriffs, but then at the end of the day, what they really have to deal with are those heroes and also these Fairy Dragons. Level 6 for the Lich, and a level up for the Alchemist. Level 5 for him right now. Another Nova rattling through the army. The Shredder is about to be shredded. Goes down here as we have Neytpoh on 56 supply against 14 for EnTe. Well, only 10 of those 14 supply really matter, and that's the one that you see right here. So again on the run, but at some point your base is going to be attacked, and that base can't run away. You're not a Nightelf. So in they go for the Lich again. And yep, there's the acid bomb now too. But another coil. Doesn't have any statues though. No statues left. Can't replenish hit points. Can't replenish mana. Things are starting to become dicey. Lich focus. The coil again successful. But he's being put with it back to the wall now. And the Death Knight goes down. And that is the end of game number 1. We're going to see a victory here for the Nightelf in the first game of the best of 3 series as EnTe calls GG, and the first game is over. Well played. The Nightelf is victorious as we're heading into the second game of the semi-final. Game number 2, everybody. We are heading into another Undead versus Nightelf. Northern Isles, and down to the bottom of the map we have EnTe with the account Black Box here at the Endgame Gear Masters. Up to the top right in yellow, once again, Neytpoh, and he actually was able to claim victory in game number 1. Now, it got a little bit more exciting than I expected at the beginning, because honestly, during the mid-game, it really seemed like the Nightelf had nailed it down. But then he started losing his heroes, especially 3 in a row there, after he revived one of them at the tavern, and that quickly turned out to gain a massive lead in experience for EnTe, who of course tried to really play around the high-level Nightelf heroes there. But either way, Ancient of War in game number 2 already a little bit forward for the first camp to be taken, and the important part is that EnTe is going to fight tooth and nail in order to make it into the grand final. It would definitely secure him a few additional points in for the standings, since this is obviously qualifier number 2 out of 3 in total, which players can gather points for the offline final, or well, for the final tournament, where they can qualify for the offline part. And EnTe has so far, I think, 1 or 2 points out of the first qualifier, but he was eliminated a bit earlier, so it would definitely be pretty good for him if he could accumulate a few more, if he wants to ensure that he is going to be part of the playoffs of the Endgame Gear Masters. Especially the offline event would be pretty cool for him. Obviously, him being a German, travel would not be an issue. The offline final takes place on the 17th of August in Osnabrück in Germany, and is also open to the public, as mentioned before. A lot of prize money on the line for the players, and therefore anticipated that we're going to see a lot of them duke it out, especially in the playoffs, with the attempt to qualify for the event. At this point, Death Knight again as the first hero for the Undead player, and the Keeper on the other side. So a little tree hugger here, going straight again into Nuada, a little Keeper, and well, time for some experience. It's actually kind of interesting, because the early game that we saw the last time with the Death Knight was really able to get so much, took a few archers down, was able to steal experience away, did pretty fantastic, baited out also a Wisp Detonate without using any mana actually. Worked really well for EnTe. But when all was said and done, he still had to yield the field of battle and to accept that Neytpoh was just a little bit stronger in the last one. So now we're having the scroll for the Keeper, as the Scroll of the Beast for himself. The Death Knight is out and can now try to also get a little bit of value here by either creeping, which is exactly what it seems like is going to happen here. Yep, goes for the first camp, and obviously both of them are pretty much doing the same. So the Wisp has started to scout out what's happening. A little seal of approval right here. And the Keeper can also start to be a little bit more aggressive and walk around the map to see if he can maybe even interrupt his opponent there slightly. As with level 2, obviously now access to the treants and also to the Entangler itself. We're having in the meantime the added item for EnTe. And that means that he actually has the Gloves of Haste, so probably an item that we will see on the Lich later on. But I don't think he's going to be too happy with what happened in game number 1. He just never really could take down the air army of his opponent. And again, it comes down to that critical number if you're playing a Hippogriff versus Gargoyle game. And he just couldn't get those numbers into the game because his opponent just had a much better economy thanks to that second base. And the Nightelf played this actually really well. Gargoyles never really becoming a threat. And never really becoming this super annoying force that is able to just roam the map, take the wisps down, make sure that you're running out of lumber, and then snipe buildings and yeah, whittle you down slowly and steadily. So that particular style never really came through. So at the bottom of the map, we're now seeing the level 2 already for the Death Knight, and with this we're also getting sentry wards for the DK in the main base. Still no tech, by the way. Into we're having instead the Hunter's Hall already claimed, plus Ultra Vision, and of course with that we're gonna see a Tree of Life now built too. So we're still looking at an Ancient of War over here, and we're having a couple of hunts coming out. And if you have a strong tier 1 army, the Keeper is an absolute monster, since he can force through the Entangle fights that the opponent just doesn't want to take. And we've seen so many games in the past already where a single Keeper with a couple of tier 1 units has an absolute easy time to force fight after fight, take 1 or 2 units down as the opponent attempts to retreat, and then claim it there. Nice attempt to go for the Ghoul. Items are already taken. I could actually save this one. And there's a bit of a body block happening as well. Sacrifices one Ghoul, wants to at least save the next though, but with treants now also he doesn't even waste his time. No mana wasted for him. And the Death Knight walks away with the Potion of Greater Mana now, has nearly level 3, but that's 2 dead units already, as the Keeper got 2 of the ghouls. But yeah, that's the combo power right there. You have a couple of treants that really start attacking, then on top of that you get the Entangle in, and obviously the Entangle at this point is already on level 2, so with the coil you won't be able to really do too much there. And therefore I just saved the mana, didn't even try, and in the meantime we have the expansion completed topside. Also, archers are coming in now together with the Huntress, and that means that we are going to see him try and jack those creep attacks from the Undead player even more. I gotta say, I really like what he's doing here. I mean, Neytpoh has so far been absolutely dominating in this setup, and is trying to get now not only experience, but also keep his opponent as low as he possibly can. And as long as the DK... Oh, yeah, there's an attempted surround. The 2 skeletons trying to block the spot, and the Death Knight gets easily out of there. One of the easiest things that you can do when your opponent tries to surround you with a couple of units is you use some of your units to block a path free and make sure that you can escape there. So we have an expansion about to be built, but at least we're going to see EnTe scout this out. And he actually uses now also the sentry ward and tries to bait the units over a little bit to make sure that... Yep, this one is going to get attacked. There's the level 3, gets the coil through. That's all the experience that he needed. And now we're having a level 3 Death Knight trying to be a bit annoying here. See if he can maybe take a few additional wisps down. So far most of them are nicely hidden. But there's another coil and 1 wisp at a time, baby. 1 wisp at a time. This one at least gets saved. But yeah, we have 2 gargoyles already up in the air, eager to see if they can maybe burn down that gold mine, because that's what it's going to come down to. Once that the Tree of Life is in play, the gargoyles are going to start to home in onto the gold mine as it gets entangled. Still, the attempts by the Death Knight to get also additional value through the coils is down to, well, 8 mana right now, but still has that Potion of Greater Mana, so that's going to be important. And yep, there we go. Starting to poke a little bit, and well, with only 2, he's going to have a bit of a tough time to make it happen. And now he goes for the wisp again. There's 1 detonate already. And this is really the annoying style that we talked about earlier. This is really the setup. You have to really deal with an opponent that's harassing you on multiple areas at the same time. You're going to start to lose a couple of units there. It's probably going to be another detonate. Nope, goes into an Ancient Protector. This one gets attacked now too. Might even be forced to a cancel. Yep, there's another attempt to build it. Another attack, and he's already macroing his own gargoyles away. But it's a really, really annoying setup now for Neytpoh. And his job is to just endure all of this, establish the base, set it up, and then yield the rewards. So now we're having another attack. In comes another quick detonate. And Neytpoh still has a lot of lumber. That surround against the Lich, on the other hand, might become a problem. But there was still a gap open, and now the attack is starting to focus on the Keeper again. We've seen that MO in the last game, and it's continuing here too. Now, he could have killed that Keeper, nearly, if he would have just gone for the coil against him. Might not have just worked out for them. That saves the Lich. Another hit against the coil, and by now we're having 4 gargoyles in the mix. So the gargoyles are starting to chase him slowly and steadily. The expansion in the meantime, by the way, mining from only a single wisp, but more are currently being built here. And at the bottom, we are now seeing the Lich again saved with the coil, but also those archers are starting to struggle. And that's all the Undead that we're talking about here. 1 archer down, the second one is falling too. Keeper can, of course, attack a bit as well. But now the gargoyles reign supreme in the skies, and that's exactly what Neytpoh shut down early on in the last game. There was just no chance for the Undead player to ever establish that presence. And now it's tricky for him to switch over into Hippogriffs. He already made the decision to use a different unit composition here. And you will never match those numbers if you're trying to switch into Hippogriffs now. So we're having the quick attacks against that. Lich goes down in the back though, finally being eliminated. At some point, Death Knight just said, okay, you're just dead weight to me right now. So they're gonna get 1 Dryad, another one gets attacked there too. More and more gargoyles are coming in. And very likely we're going to see another Dryad eliminated. And Neytpoh is just sitting here and saying like, damn son, I need Untitled. And I need it now. I can't waste any more time there. But he has now the fully functioning expansion in his main base with the tech of Tree of Ages completed. We're now seeing upgrades actually being produced here. And we have him in a position where he's relying on a double Ancient of Lore plus that Ancient of War that we've seen earlier. Dryad is going down too. So that one is eliminated. And now in the middle, just in vision of another sentry ward, we're going to see, most like an alchemist, as the second hero fight. Just focusing quickly onto the Undead player, the tech into the Halls of the Dead has started. We have a double slaughterhouse actually produced here. No second crypt, as you can see here. So there is definitely going to be a transition from him. Not going to stick it out with gargoyles the entire game, but using them for now to attempt and steal some extra experience away. And of course always seeing, hey, can I maybe take a Dryad down? Do I have a chance? But losing gargoyles like this is always a problem. Especially since he's limiting himself to a smaller amount. It's a really big issue if you're starting to use gargoyles like this. In terms of items, Scourge Bone Chimes now for the Alchemist isn't bad either. Gargoyles again on the prowl. I mean, these guys just want the wisps. Die, Tree Hugger, die. That's pretty much what we're going to see from them there. And they're going to get a couple of hits in, so they're going to deny some of the mining. But wood is still there. Lumber is sitting at 120 now. That's another gargoyle that could potentially fall. Tries to grant vision a little bit longer. Nice move here. But it didn't really yield any results. So the heroes are still at the bottom of the map. Having for EnTe now, again, the tech Entity 3 wants to get the Orb of Corruption, has a couple of Obsidian statues that are coming out, and the gargoyles are still doing their thing, just flying around and trying to see if they can take more wisps down. Shut down the lumber income. Destroy the economy. Just keep the opponent busy, because if you don't have a good multitasking, if you're starting or if you're struggling when it comes to macro, then eventually you're going to just lose ground on the map because of that. And, well, Neytpoh is currently not having real big problems here. We're having, again, a couple of experience points gathered over towards the Lich as the Death Knight is already retreating. He's happy with the level 4. Next step would be to bring the Lich on level 3 so that you have level 2 Nova. But there's, again, the attack from the bottom, and as long as he doesn't see that one coming, that might be an issue. Gargoyle goes down, and we might see even more fall. Nova comes in as they're trying to make the play for the Huntress. Death Knight is back to business now as well, and has the Orb of Corruption that he can pass over to the Lich, but there's still a lot of units that are going to go down here. Another Gargoyle bites the dust, and EnTe is down to 35 supply against 60. The Nightelf is absolutely rocking it right now. He had a bit of a tough time establishing the expansion, but now things are starting to really stabilize for him. +1 attack upgrades on the Dryads, and he's really starting to crush it here. I mean, in terms of hero experience, we're looking at 4.5 on the Keeper and Alchemist on level 3. Keep in mind that Lich is still level 2. He's way ahead. He has an expansion, he has the superior army, he has more upgrades, and he also has higher hero levels. And now he's going for a big surround, and he gets it. Nicely done. Treants come in, portal passed over, and he needs to retreat again. But right now, the name of the game is just Neytpoh bullying EnTe wherever he finds him. The map is his. Seriously, like, he is just walking around, takes fight whenever he wants them, he forces them, he creep jacks, and he just always forces EnTe to retreat. And EnTe doesn't really have a whole lot. EnTe has a huge amount of wood, but that's about it. We're seeing the Abomination with the Disease Cloud there, but he's at 44 supply. And for an Undead, it's not really untypical to stay below 50, but it's not like he's amassing a huge amount of resources here. And especially talking about the Lich he needs at level 3. Even if he wants to rely on the same hero sniping style that he employed in game number 1 when he was attempting to come back, he needs to have a higher nukes in order to make that happen. Because killing that Alchemist is going to be a chore in the first place, but if you're dealing with not a lot of damage output there, then it's a different story. Yep, there's the Helm of Valor. So the Alchemist is going to get another boost in HP and is now sitting at 1000. That's only a level 3 Alchemist. And he's trying to apparently go for an expansion here. I mean, we have a Sacrificial Skull now in the inventory. Is he going to send something with this? No, not so far. There's also a Scout though. So it's at least going to be an attempt to get out the Magnator Reaver so that he has a good chance of grabbing an item here that might just be worth it and maybe tilt the scales in his favor a little bit. But so far, can he play that off somehow? Helm of Valor as well, like, that's balance right there. So yeah, each of the players gets one. There's already the scan, in comes the Wisp, might try and go for detonate. Yeah, but obviously a bit too far out. And as you can tell, right here, another Abom. So we're talking 4 Abominations right now, with 0 upgrades, 56 supply, so he went over into the low upkeep, and is trying to take the remaining camps. Alchemist on level 4. Level 5 for the Keeper. Orb of Venom in the inventory. And when we talk about this Dryad army, 1-1 upgrades for them. More experience now also starting to come in for EnTe. And I mean, he's sitting now with another claw on the Lich on plus 14 in total. So yeah, gets some damage out there. I mean, it's not insane. He didn't find it plus 12 claw or anything. It's only 1 plus 6, but still, it's an okay damage output for him. And with all those A-bombs, that's the question. Can he keep those alive long enough? Because the army of his opponent is growing continuously. 76 supply now. 1 base against 2 base. And still, by the way, the scout here. So obviously after we've seen this ball scouted out by the crystal ball, Neytpoh just said, okay, let's double check and see if he actually expanded there or not. We have no town portal for the Undead. It's not really all that uncommon that Undeads run around the map with no TP, because you always can rely on the Unholy Aura. So that usually helps you. But if you get caught in the wrong spot, then you're not going to get out with without losses at all. So now 68 supply against 80. Actually, quite a bit closer than you might have imagined initially. The problem is that those two might be caught here. That's a big problem. It's actually kind of funny. Alright, there it goes. There he sees them. Actually, no, that's just an A move. Okay, so the Dryad goes up against them. And a few are being set in from the flank. Yep, another slow that we're seeing over here. And that's also outside the range of the Death Knight. So no advantage here. 1 kill. Level 4 is in. And he's going to be able to get that Abomination out of harm's way too. So there we go. Novas come in and yeah, it's Destroyer time, baby. But the Staff of Preservation used right away to move them back. Another thing that's getting used there, though, is another base. Boom. Another Tree of Life. Neytpoh, StarCraft style, going straight in, expanding all over the place now. And still having also on top of that the anti-magic potion here on the Alchemist. We're starting to go straight in for another battle. Items, upgrades, still 0. Nada. Zip. 2 armor upgrades by now for the Dryads. They're feeling pretty frisky here. Production structures going down, that's a different issue though. So even if you have the gold, if you don't have the production structures any longer, then you have a tough time using that. But here comes the aggression. We're seeing EnTe trying whatever he can. He needs to put a dent into this defense right now. 72 supply against 81, and here comes the action in against those. Yeah, against those bears. The magic damage from the destroyers against the heavy armor, but a good use of the Staff of Preservation. Once again, coils are keeping the Abominations alive so far. And we have the focus starting to shift a little bit. Alchemist is getting a little bit low, but he also has the Ankh of Reincarnation. 1 of the bears is down, 2nd one falls too. Nice job done by Endgame. Takes a 3rd down. The destroyers are melting that meat shield away. But the A-bombs are getting kind of low too, and there are no healing scrolls or anything like that available. He only relies on those coils. And another A-bomb falls. Another one. 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. Loses way too many. 56 supply now against 70. Finally the coil coming in, but another focus fire set up from the Keeper, and that is another A-bomb dead. 3 of them still available. Actually, I'm lying. There's a single A-bombs there. 1, that's it, and down at the bottom the base is in. This means we're having 3 mining bases now for the Nightelf. Still seeing him down to 63 supply against the 52 that we have from EnTe. And EnTe is on level 5 with the Death Knight. Level 4.5 Lich. So he's actually starting to take this slowly and steadily. The one thing that you have to keep in mind is with 3 bases, that's 15 supply that is already just in your gold mines, compared to the 5 that the Undead player has. So when we're talking about army supply, it's a really different picture. You have to also account for the rest of the wisps that are hanging in the trees right now. It's just going for the straight up hugging. But we have chimeras now in play too. So when it comes to army supply, the 2 of them are actually fairly close. That's something that can't be ignored here. But we still have that tech, and that income is going to play a role eventually. Triple Ancient of Lore is being built now as well. And obviously with the magic damage that those chimeras can push out, you can take down Abominations within seconds, and that's exactly what he's hoping for. So yep, there they go. Ancient of Laws are getting attacked again. It's Chimera time, baby! Yeah, they're starting to go straight in for the Keeper again. We've seen this movie before. Down he goes, and that's a level 6 Death Knight. And with the level 6, does he get the level 5 for the Lich? They're trying to burn down the Chims. 1's down, level 5 is in, and the A-bomb eliminated. One Chimera still in action. Yep, there's another Death Coil keeping the Abomination alive a little bit longer, and they are all falling. 52 supply for EnTe. Neytpoh is on 50. His army supply is way lower. The base at the bottom right has never been found by EnTe. EnTe doesn't know that the base is there. And that's another Chimera that goes down. Another one eliminated. The army supply for Neytpoh is absolutely in the toilet right now. He doesn't have anything here. Seriously, like he has nothing. He has Wisps and a couple of Dryads next to the Alchemist, and that's all that he has right now. But the attack is going on. And at this point, EnTe might win this. EnTe is looking strong with that. The problem is he going to run out of resources eventually? 1,500 gold. He definitely has still a lot left, but not nearly as much as Neytpoh. It's all a matter of nutrition at this point. Another lore about to go down here. That Death Knight also has 0 items, by the way. Like nothing, absolutely nothing. All the items are on the Lich at this point. He's taking one lord down, he's going for a second. Down at the bottom of the map, still only the mining going on. The units are starting to move over. Obviously, he's waiting for his hero now as well. And it's going to take a long time to get that Keeper back to business. An Alchemist is on level 5. He has the Ankh, he has the Scourge Bone Charms. He has some decent items in that inventory, but nothing that could really help him to take this down. If he hits level 6, then it's a different story. I mean, obviously, once he hits level 6, bye-bye Aboms, bye-bye Destroyers. But now we're having the expansion getting attacked. And EnTe, he still doesn't know about the expansion at the bottom left. The question is that going to matter? If he doesn't find the expansion at the bottom right, that could be a problem in the long run. Because he might assume that there's no additional source of income for his opponent. He might already feel like he's victorious here. And honestly, he has the numbers. I mean, 60 supply against 71. But again, figuring in the economy supply that we have in form of wisdom, the amount, there is a chance that he can force this back. Shop is already about to go down. There was a scout attempt that I've also shown a bit earlier at the bottom of the map with an Acolyte. But that one was taken. Well, it might have been an expansion attempt, to be honest with you. And yes, it probably was. But the Huntress took that down. But here's the fight again. Yep, there's the Destroyers. Obviously, the magic damage is melting the Aboms away. That one is gone, and here we move in again. Dark Ritual for the Lich, always a pleasure to have that. If you know that a unit goes down, that's your ticket back into it, and you actually get something out of it too. Keeper of the Groove, once again, level 5.5 from him. Has the Orb of Venom. Yep, there's the attacks again. The Chims are going down pretty quickly. One Chimera down, second Chimera about to fall, trying to get the focus in against the R-Bomb. One down, second to fall, and there is another. Oh, the Keeper is dead again. That guy just doesn't have any hit points. As annoying as that fucker is in the early game, in the late game, he just doesn't have any hit points. The guy is way too weak there. Needs to work out a little bit. Needs to get some muscles in there, a little bit of resilience, something. Level 6 for the Lich, level 7 for the Death Knight. Holy hell. Death and Decay now skilled as well for EnTe, and he is murdering it here. 50 supply for him, 60 for Neytpoh. The Nightelf trying to survive, but the Alchemist is low, still has the Anchor of Reincarnation. But he is going to have to use it here. Moonwells are depleted or are about to, and once the Moonwells are dry, you are having a tough time as a Night Elf defending your base, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. The Lich is just murdering the Dryads right now. The Destroyers are homing in on the Tree of Eternity here, and the Alchemist is going for the French defense. He's running away with a boost from the Chemical Rage. Yeah, another Dryad biting the dust here. More Chimeras already getting built. Those are not going to do too much, and that tree is not looking too happy either. That's not a happy tree, boys. That is not a happy tree at all. Nope. That tree is gonna go down slowly and steadily. Those wisps might be a little bit too late. Or are they? Can they actually save this? In comes the Lich, and goodbye. Tree of Eternity is down. Tree of Eternity is down. Statues are in the mix. And now we're going again for the Alchemist. What does the base say? Base is depleted. Base is built up at the top. And down at the bottom of the map, indeed, still an expansion for Neytpoh. Still mining the entire time here. What about the Keeper? Rebuild, soon back to business. Mana is an issue. Death Knight with another coil could use it. Statues are in the back. Lich on level 6. They're trying to get the damage in. The coil saves him for now. This is an insane late game. The problem for EnTe is that he doesn't know about this base. He has to suspect, though, at this point. I mean, he needs to suspect that something isn't quite right here. Something is not quite right at this point, and he probably knows it now. So at this point, we're having immediately, well, that one again set up. The Keeper is back, he can groove around a little bit. So a little Keeper straight from the Grove up towards the Groove, and now we're going to see him trying to survive a little bit longer. If he passes over the Staff of Preservation, might have a chance there, but things are seriously starting. I mean, shit is really hitting the fan here in this game. What a setup! I mean, honestly, this one is kind of crazy. And that Hunt is going to scout out what EnTe has at the top left. And EnTe is down to 36 supply against 49. He has no idea about the base at the bottom right. And guys, talking about bases, there's another one being built. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright. Acolytes are being attacked. There's the immediate dispel that we have from the destroyers, and they're trying to melt down that, that alchemist. And this time he falls. But again, he has the Ankh. He has the Ankh of Reincarnation. Keeper again in trouble. Keeper with a portal. He's trying to get away. Oh, the alchemist is down. The alchemist is dead, and he has, well, he has the money. He has the money, and it seems like he wants to buy it at the tavern. Move straight towards the tavern. Oh my god, if the Undead actually moves his units down there or his army, he might be able to take that. Is he gonna grab it here? Yes. And guys, that was expensive. He's down to 200 gold now, but he still has the income. That base is never gonna make it. Undead late game heroes, they are insane. One unit down, statue eliminated. That was an important one. Yeah, I'm not quite sure if he expected that. Okay, so now he needs to deal with the situation that unfolds up to the top left, because we have another Huntress. Oh, we have a Shredder coming in. Okay, it is Shredder time. Yeah. Always hire a Goblin, ladies. Always hire a Goblin. They're just amazing. So, yeah, still no scouting down here. How much money is left there? 3,200! He has the Acolyte body blocks. If you can't even take down an Acolyte, you definitely chose the wrong profession here. EnTe is currently pinned down a little bit. As soon as he makes an appearance anywhere on the map, even before that, we're going to see the top left attacked. And it's the only source of income that is still left to him. And there we go. In come the Dryads. Dryads are on the move, but so are, well, the Destroyers aren't going to do a whole lot against them. But every single Acolyte that you kill hurts. Every single Acolyte that he loses hurts him. And hurts him a lot. Yep, there comes the attack. But if the Acolytes go down and he has to rebuild them, that is an issue. And it's a big issue at that. They're trying to make the play for the Dryads. The problem is that right now, EnTe is probably assuming that it's going to be just a matter of who has more resources. And he didn't really account for this base being there for this long. Then again, Neytpoh is at 47 supply. That's not a lot. The Keeper is on nearly level 6. The Alchemist is level 6. That's a bigger problem. Transmute is ready now. And that's a big problem. Or is it? Because at the end of the day, the Undead pretty much has only his heroes left anyways. It's not like he has a massive army sitting there. He has a couple of destroyers and statues. So those are definitely going to fall victim to the Alchemist. But they are fighting for every single unit, and at the end of the day, it's really just a matter of can you kill those heroes. And we have the Lich on level 7 now. Yeah, gets the Dark Ritual on level 3. What a game! This game is just crazy. Honestly, this game is just absolutely insane. So, yeah, 39 supply against 46, nearly even on that. 1-2 upgrades, 1 attack, 2 armor for the Nightelf. No upgrades for the Undead, but a lot of heroes. And has a potion of mana too. Plus 14 attack on the Lich. Has at least 1 tower at the top, and a Rubian tower actually. And he's starting to move to the bottom of the map right now. I mean, EnTe's figured out, obviously by now he knows, there must be an expansion somewhere. So he's double checking that base, there's nothing there, he knows that there's one at the bottom right, there's just no way for him not to know. but just venturing over there doesn't really help him either. As long as he can deny an additional expansion from his opponent, I think it's going to be okay for him. He has his own gold mine there, but there comes the damage. Here comes the flank again as we're seeing them moving in. The attack is there, and the Keeper is in trouble. Keeper is already in trouble. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability is already getting used as the Chemical Rage comes in, trying to get that little setup. And here comes the Tranquility. Where's the Coil? Where's the Nova? Doesn't even get used because the Town Portal is quicker. Neytpoh moves in and gets the hell out of there. Within a second. Has to. Nothing else he can do. Coil Nova is too much of a problem. He needs to buy that shop empty. He needs to buy that shop clean. And honestly, with all the gold that he had, I mean, he's left with 1,300. Guys, he doesn't have a lot. He has one Potion of Lesser Invulnerability right now on his Alchemist, and that's pretty much that. That Keeper is just a wander, like, he's just wandering around the battlefield, and there's just a target painted on his forehead. I know it's a little bit difficult to see with all of that mossy shit that he has all over there, but still, it's there. And that Coil and that Nova, they're both gonna find him. And statues are obviously something that EnTe wants, and those are the first thing that gets transmuted here. But look at those mana pools. He has more than enough. The Death Knight is on level 8 for crying out loud. He has 2 Aboms with this as well. 39 supply for him. Another expansion attempt here by Neytpoh. And eventually EnTe has to move out. He can't just sit there the entire game and defend his expansion. That's never gonna work. He needs to be aware that obviously Neytpoh is just going to sit there and say like la 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 and starts like, yeah, I don't know, whacking in the corner or something. He's going to move out and try to dominate on the macro level again too, and that means more expansions for him. So where are the scouts? Where's the attempt to just find out what's happening here? Item is going over. Strength and agility was for a long time on the Lich here for an additional hit point pool, but now it's more about keeping the Death Knight alive. So having that expansion is nice and dandy. Buy a few more items and then he has to move out there, and that's exactly what he's starting to do. But the army of the Nightelf is big, and keep in mind this is game number 2. The Nightelf is in the lead. This is game 2. Yeah, immediate attack and a quick coil, and there's the transmute on the destroyer. Yeah, those dirty alchemists, they sell everything, even shit that doesn't belong to them. Here comes the focus once more onto the... the Chimera is down, but the problem is so is the Abomination. Abom is down, and the Acid Bomb comes in as well. 57 supply against 38. It's all about the heroes. Coil, Nova, the entire time, one after another. He's trying to take the Kims down, and there's the Tranquility already being used by the Keeper. Keeper with the Tranquility, and they can try and make the play right now, but it's going to be super tricky. 2 Abominations slowed down by the Dryads and the Poison, and immediately attacked by the Chimeras. Another Nova, though, comes in. They're trying to take those, and EnTe starting to lose a little bit of ground again. He's bunkering. Base at the bottom, by the way, is done. This one is done. But he has another mining base now. 2,500 are left here. It's not a lot, but it's there. And there's the Staff of Preservation. Staff Preservation already used. Neytpoh on the run again. Yeah, good luck running away from a level 3 Unholy Aura. That's not going to work too well for you, especially the Chimeras. It's like, fly faster. It's not going to happen. Another Coil is all that they need. Coil comes in onto the A-Bomb. Kim down. And another Chimera is about to fall as well, but one more moving in. Whoa, the Abomination is dead too. Yeah, and now it's time for the Death Knight to fear for his life. 20 supply against 49. And still gold available for Neytpoh. And what does he do? Sends another tree over. Over here. Another base. Another expansion. Black Box, aka EnTe. He's sitting on 28 supply. The game's still going on here. Transmute is in, and there's the Keeper immediately with his ult again. One ult after another, and they're trying to turn it around. Now the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability has been used earlier. He's trying to make the play for the Alchemist again. Alchemist is getting attacked. Tranquility is nearly over, but there's a lot now. There's a lot, and all of a sudden we are actually seeing EnTe start to lose ground again. It really looked to me like he would win this game. When he was able to take down pretty much the main base of his opponent, all that he had to do was scout the bottom right with anything, and he would have been able to shut down all of the mining there and take it. But now he's starting to run in trouble. Unless... Oh, Keeper on the run! Keeper on the run, baby! And it is daylight. It is daylight. Keeper at the bottom, and that bad boy doesn't have a lot of hit points left. 100. 100. If one of those A-bombs farts a disease cloud into his direction, he's down. Yep. And EnTe's now moving around, down to the bottom right, checking if the base is still there. Newsflash, it isn't. But he's taking your own natural. Oh, the body block and the kill! The Keeper is dead! The level 6 Keeper is down! Transmute again, and now he goes for the Alchemist. Guys, is this it? Alchemist on level 7, Death Knight, the Coil, the Lich, and he takes him down too! The Lich on level 8! Can he save him? Yes, he can! You got to be kidding me! What is this game? What the fuck is happening here? Seriously. The Dark Ranger on level 1 is joining the fun now too. Yep, that's the one thing that you can buy that your opponent can't sell when he comes back. But this is getting insane. How much money does he have? Can he rebuy the heroes? Well, can he rebuy them without them dying immediately? He has 700, 800 gold. There's the Dark Ranger. Another Dryad down. Dark Ranger on the run. He has the mana against the coil in. Oh, it's Untitled too. He's gonna take it, isn't he? He's gonna win it after all. He's gonna win. There is 2 bases here. There is 2 mining bases. He's even teching. And they go straight in for the Alchemist. And he portals out with the Staff of Teleportation. The Alchemist portals out. This game is nuts. This game is insane. This game is crazy. This game is absolutely bonkers. Oh, this one is about EnTe. 500 gold. There's 500 gold left. And now he moves down to the bottom and he's like, what the fuck? You're trying to take that one too? Are we going to see the death and decay here even? I mean, he has it. Does he have the mana? And then says no, but he has the statue. And there we have it. Neytpoh is at 49 supply. 49 against 44. EnTe might just have it after all. Level 9 Death Knight now. What is this game? Seriously. This game is just insane. But that should be the nail in the coffin. He doesn't have any money anymore. He has nothing left. The Dark Ranger's on level 2. I mean, congratulations. At least something for her. But that's going to be the end of the income that we're having for the Nightelf player. He has the Keeper back up. The Keeper is back. He doesn't have any items though. There's no items. Once that those units, once that the army is just topped up with mana again, that has to be it. Keep in mind that that Lich is on level 8. He needs to have 1 Dark Ritual against anything, and he has a full mana pool pretty much. There should be no way to keep that Keeper alive. No way whatsoever. He finds the tree. He finds the tree, and now he's gonna try and burn it onto the ground. What an insane game. What an absolute insane game. Here comes the Alchemist. Oh god, he's surrounded. Oh, the coiled it over! And he's dead. Alchemist is down. The Dark Ranger surviving. Nearly level 3 for her, by the way. And now we're seeing EnTe just wrecking through this army. Tranquility in the background, but there's already the silence against the Keeper. The Nova comes in. He's trying to fire away against it. There's the coil too, and the Keeper is on the run. 3 Chimeras are currently trying to deal with this. Again, the surround against the Death Knight. How does he have the Death Pact? Does he have a Death Pact? Yes, he does. He gets the Death Pact through. Survives a little bit longer here. The fight still ongoing. Again, a surround against the Death Knight, and he is moving out. The A-bomb, it falls, but so does another Chimera. 25 supply with 1,000 gold to spend against 43 with 0 left. Mass drain on the Death Knight. The decay without mana. The Lich low tries to get the aura in. Oh, and again the entangle on the Death Knight. He closes the surround, and that might be the end. Oh god, that might be the end of the Death Knight. He might be able to kill the Death Knight. 500 gold, and there's the Tranquility. He's going to kill him. He's going to kill him. He doesn't have the mana for coil either. Guys, he's going to kill the decay. What? Level 7 on the keeper. No, EnTe, the GG, and Neytpoh takes it with a 2-0. What an insane game. Neytpoh moves on to the grand final. What an unbelievable second game between EnTe and his Nightelf opponent here. Holy hell. Great performance and an insane second map between the two players here. GG and well played as Neytpoh takes the victory at the Endgame Gear Masters. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video and I hope that you enjoyed the match and the commentary. The remaining time of the video has been added to protect against spoilers caused by the length of the video itself. But please keep in mind though that this does not only mean more work for me but also has a negative impact on the popularity of the videos and the channel because of YouTube's algorithms. It would be greatly appreciated if you'd consider supporting the channel and help me to continue the daily esports coverage by clicking the join button below the video or supporting me through the Patreon page linked in the video description. Thanks a lot for the support and see you guys next time.